Hey everyone, this is Deepak and welcome to this blog video. And in today's video, I want to talk about how does your sales process get impacted with the use of social media. And I see this consistent gap where when I speak with financial advisors who are trying to use social media, they're very confident of their ability to close a prospect once they get in front of the prospects, right? And they are very confident about their ability to close. But almost every single time when people start working with us and they get leads and they start to have the first meeting, second meetings and all that, they start to feel the sales process they have is not really working and they're not as good as they thought they were. So what I'd like to cover in this video, and I have a slide that I put together, which I'll share in a second, is the sales process need to be created to keep in mind the source of lead. So let's say if you have a sales process and if you're getting leads from a referral of an existing client, it's different. If you happen to know some people from past acquaintances or relationships or whatever, there's a slightly different process. We predominantly help advisors use social media by going to complete cold market total strangers, right? People that have never heard of you, they don't know you, and perhaps it's the most difficult market to tap into. So when you do that, you absolutely need to make sure that you understand how your sales process need to change, because if it doesn't change, then you're not going to get a lot of, output from all your activities on social media. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, because the whole idea of prospecting on social media is to get more clients, and you need to have a good process from a sales standpoint. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let me share my screen now and let's walk through this. So as I say, it's like, how does social media impact your sales process? Now, let's break down the sales into like three different things. So you have a prospecting, you have closing, which is essentially converting people into client. If you're a financial advisor, that's like buying an insurance policy, underwriting a policy, or moving asset opening accounts, right? That's the closing part. And the follow-up is kept at the end, but it could be before closing, you might have to follow up. Even to prospect, you might have to follow up. So there's a whole follow-up process that is spread across the entire sales process. So, like when you have a traditional method, be it referrals, seminar, events, all of that, right? You need to have a very different process. Now, when I say different, I mean like the way you conduct your main appointment can change. And if you just take a step back and understand why that would be the case, is because sales process need to account for what happened before somebody got there. So let's say you had a seminar event and you found 3 prospects that want to sit down, and now you're sitting down with them. But because those 3 prospects were attended like an hour-long seminar, they had dinner perhaps if you did that, might spend like 2 hours in an environment on retirement planning, estate planning, or whatever the topic was, and now they're sitting down with you. So they had a chance to socialize with you, they had a chance to talk to you. There's a whole different mindset they have of you, and so the sales process is going to be different. You don't have to do as much rapport building, you don't have to create a lot more trust. You can get to work in business. But if somebody met you off LinkedIn, well, you can't do that, right? You have to understand and factor what happened before. So here are some key differences when it comes to social media prospecting. And we are going to take an example of LinkedIn prospecting or a Facebook ad lead. These are platforms that we like to use and we recommend advisors use. So I'll take an example of those. So let's say you're doing social media process. What you need to understand is the context. It's the context on social media is really powerful, because let's say if you're prospecting through LinkedIn and you're connecting with people, the ideal client that you have, and then you are messaging them to get meetings. Now, these people really are coming from a context of LinkedIn. They have an ability to see you through the lens of LinkedIn. with the profile that you have, the content that you post, all that. And that is what they have seen of you before they jump on to the first meeting, which is a Zoom meeting or a phone call. It's not the same as a seminar. It still might be a more than a cold referral, right? So it really depends upon all those things. So you have to factor that, they are seeing something. It could be more or less. So you need to have the first meeting. So we have a very clear first meeting process that we give, because we are factoring that they're coming from LinkedIn and what they have seen. Well, what you also need to understand, something really nice happens on social media is that you're connected with someone forever. So let's say I'll take an example of cold calling or going to a networking event, right? If you had used any of those methods, the limitation of those methods is, you call somebody, if you don't have a good conversation or what have you, after you drop the phone call, there really is you don't know that person and the person doesn't know you. Similarly, if you meet somebody in an event and exchange business cards, whatever, after a week or 10 days, you almost don't know each other, right? But on social media, it's different. If you're connected with somebody on LinkedIn, you could send a message months later. And LinkedIn allows people to see the past messages, they can check your profile and remember who you are, right? So you have to have a process that understands that there is a longevity in terms of prospecting. We call in our process, step and gap selling model. And this is important because with social media, the biggest change, if you will, in your sales process is that you have to break it down, because now you're chunking your sales process. Previously, what you were doing on a cold call, for example, now you can start from your very first message that you send somebody on LinkedIn. And once they connect with you, you send another messages. Then you get on a phone call. So you see that the prospect was interacting with you on multiple different steps. And there's a different psychology of how you communicate your entire process. So you're kind of breaking down your sales into multi-step. And understanding this is extremely powerful and profound. And we in fact have created software tool to allow you to kind of manage people at each stage and also give you a lot more recommendation on how you should deal with moving somebody from one step to other. And again, the life of a lead follow-up is long, especially on platforms like LinkedIn or even Facebook ads, because now people are able to discover you in today's world with LinkedIn or Facebook ads. They may not be instantly interested because they just learned about you. When they start to see your content or when you send them a follow-up message on LinkedIn, they're slowly going to learn. And sometimes the time from when they discovered you on an ad or through LinkedIn connection, it might take like 6 or 8 months before they get on a call with you or a meeting with you. And some people will never, or most people will never get on a meeting, but you will find that it's much longer. And you have to break down. So if somebody is not getting on the call with you, you are able to follow up differently. You can send them certain type of email. You can send them certain types of messages. So you see how all this can change your sales process. So if you're trying to use social media and not accounting for these changes, you're not going to find the entire process very effective. So I know a lot of advisors are thinking of social media as lead generation, and you get me the call or get me the lead and then I know what to do. You just need to do a lot more than that. Otherwise you're not going to have an effective process. So this is really how things are broken down when it comes to sales changes with social media. So again, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll see you in the next blog video. Thank you.